Thank you, Adrian, and a very good evening to you, wherever and however you're listening to TalkSport 2. Well, nobody expected Manchester City to be struggling to make the Champions League round of 16. What they did expect last week, and will again in the Bernabeu tonight, is a proper Spanish Inquisition from Real Madrid, the 15 times winners of this competition, who sealed a 3-2 victory at the Etihad last week, late on, when Jude Bellingham rolled the ball into an empty net from a Vinicius setup. And so Manchester City have to do what very few teams have done in UEFA ties, and knock out Real Madrid when they've won the first leg away. And they're further hampered, Manchester City, it would appear, by the fact that Erling Haaland, who is one short of 50 Champions League goals, is having to start the game on the bench. Is it because he picked up a knock against Newcastle in the 4-0 win at the weekend, or is it a tactical switch from Pep Guardiola? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it's all semantics because he is on the bench. Omar Marmoush, who got the hat-trick against Newcastle in that 4-0 rout on Saturday, leads the line for Manchester City. Ederson in goal, Kusanov, Stones, Diaz and Guardiola in the back four, Gundogan and Nico Gonzalez holding, and then Foden, Bernardo Silva and Savinho behind Marmoush. And as for Real Madrid, well, they welcome back Antonio Rudiger to their back line. He's missed the last couple of weeks, but he's back in a 4-3-3 formation. Courtois the keeper, Valverde, Asensio, Rudiger and Mendy the back four, Ceballos, Tchouaméni and Bellingham the midfield three, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo and Mbappe in attack. Well, Real Madrid, as Adrian and Stuart Pearce were discussing, have talked about the Real Madrid sabre rattling over refereeing decisions. All eyes on Istvan Kovac, then the Romanian referee in charge of proceedings in this game tonight at the Santiago Bernabeu. Liverpool have just taken the lead on TalkSport in that exclusive Premier League game we've got for you. Mo Salah, after a bit of a defensive howler at the back, Stuart and I have just witnessed it, Villa giving the ball away cheaply in their own defensive third, and that normally means you get punished by Liverpool, and that's exactly what Salah's done.
It certainly does. Poor mistake it certainly was, and then Jota, very clever, pull back to Salah, and he doesn't miss from that distance.
So that game continues live over on TalkSport. They played nearly half an hour at Villa Park, but we're about to get underway at the Santiago Bernabeu. Real Madrid in their traditional all-white, Manchester City in their change strip of the burgundy strip that they're wearing tonight. And the referee blows the whistle, and Manchester City, who are attacking the south stand to our left in this first half, wearing that all-burgundy away strip, get us underway. A 3-2 aggregate scoreline in favour of Real Madrid from the first leg. And it's noticeable, we wondered whether Kusanov or Stones would play at right back. It is the Uzbekistan man, Kusanov, who's playing on the right of the back four for Manchester City, who are just casually passing the ball around in their own half to start things off. Guardiola being chased down by Rodrigo, and then it's fired downfield, asking Marmoush to give chase, but that's overhit, and it'll be a throw into Real Madrid in their right back position. So yeah, Real have won 37 of 39 UEFA matches they played when they won the first leg away. The last time they lost in the Champions League, having won the first leg away, was in 2019 against Ajax in the round of 16, where they actually got beaten by 4-1 at this stadium.
Yeah, your point earlier, Kusanov playing right back. I wonder his bit of pace is what he's decided to put in there instead of John Stones potentially, you know.
Up against Vinicius, yeah.
Indeed.
We'll see how things pan out. City in possession with Foden just inside the Real half. Back it goes to halfway. Bernardo Silva just in front of the centre circle. Plenty of options left and right, but just plays the ball backwards to square to the new recruit, Nico Gonzalez. who had a very impressive game against Newcastle on Saturday, in a sort of position where Manchester City have struggled to find the right balance and blend. Gvardiol tucks it away down the left-hand side of midfield, asking Marmoush to give chase, and he wins a throw out on the left-hand side. Decent ball down the left-hand side from Gvardiol to find his man. 0-0. We played a couple of minutes on TalkSport 2, and Gvardiol's going to take the throw. It's about 5 or 6 yards from the corner flag at the south stand end. Throws it in to Nico Gonzalez, half cleared by Madrid, kept in play by a combination of Diaz and Gundogan. Now Stones, just ahead of the centre circle, plays the ball in field but gets it back, and Madrid have got everybody pretty much back behind the ball here. Out it goes left to Josko Gvardiol, midway point of the Madrid half. Gundogan tucks it in field to Gonzalez. Good ball up to the edge of the area. Bit of space being made at the edge of the box. It just wouldn't quite run for Savinho, and Vinicius Junior would tuck it out to Ferland Mendy in the left back position for the hosts, and he tucks it in field for Ceballos. And now Rudiger back in the Madrid starting lineup after a couple of weeks out, finds Rodrigo on the right. Immediately Mbappe was on his bike through the middle, but they elected not to use him. 3 minutes gone, 0-0 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate to Real.
Yeah, and credit to Diaz on that occasion. Just covered the run of Mbappe in time gone by. City have held that high line and just encouraged the opposition to play that ball.
Well, picking up possession now is Dani Ceballos. Bellingham, having had that red card at the weekend. Long ball over the top, looking for Mbappe. Lobs it out to the keeper. Oh, what a start for Real Madrid. The ball over the top caught Mbappe in behind the City defence. It's only taken Real Madrid 3.5 minutes to hit the front, and it's a sumptuous lob from Kylian Mbappe in behind the City centre halves. Picked his moment, waited for Ederson to commit, and just dinked it over him. Nestles in the back of the net, and Real Madrid are already 1-0 up on the night and 4-2 up on aggregate. It was that simple.
It certainly was. I mean, we've spoke about this. Balls over the back line have caused absolute havoc for City this season, full stop. They dealt with the run earlier. We're just patting Diaz on the back for covering the runoff. On that occasion, that ball was magnificent. Diaz slightly out of position. John Stones not covering enough. But I tell you what, the ball and the finish were magnificent, I've got to say, and it's very difficult. You can criticise the back line, but it was just outstanding play, and what a finish.
It's his 5th Champions League goal of the campaign, Kylian Mbappe. Huge smile on his face as he wheeled away. And Real Madrid now have a 2-goal advantage in this playoff tie, and Manchester City are right up against it now.
They certainly are. John Stones has gone down clutching either his hamstring or the back of his knee, and that doesn't look good. Not what they needed.
Oh dear, oh dear. This is the worst possible start to this game. I'm not sure whether he's actually feeling his groin there, John Stones, but he's lying on his side, just inside his own half of the field. 5 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. Kylian Mbappe, such a cool, calm finish. You'd expect nothing less of the French international. Yeah, look, like just in a replay of that incident with Stones, maybe just jarred his knee as he was sending the ball out to the far right-hand side. But what a ball downfield for Real Madrid to set Mbappe away. Ceballos, was it? Beautifully played.
I mean, it was a wonderful ball, make no mistake about that, but this is the subtotal of teams watching City play of recent months, and they say that ball over the top, they're encouraging their players to play it, where probably in a normal game they wouldn't have played that type of ball. It's a gamble ball, you know what I mean? But my God, what a finish by Mbappe. I've got to say, he's just helped it on over the goalkeeper, no chance whatsoever. And, well, we expected goals in the game, and we were 3 and a bit minutes in.
Yeah. Well, now 6 minutes gone. Stones still getting treatment. You're listening to Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0 in the Champions League. Live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever the mission, home or away. Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. And the stretcher is out on the Bernabeu playing surface. John Stones looks like he's going to take no further part because Nathan Ake is already stripped and ready and getting some last instructions from his manager. And that would appear to be that for a player who has his injury problems, John Stones, and once again he's having to leave the field far earlier than he would like, and it seemed an innocuous injury to pick up just as he was releasing the ball right hand side. Wasn't even caught by Vinicius Junior, but has tweaked something.
Yeah, I mean, he swung his right foot at it and hit it side foot, let's say, but with plenty of violence in what he done, and then planted his foot straight after. I remember doing my knee ligaments just inside my knee, and it was in a challenge, and I hadn't realised running in a straight line the severity of it until I side-footed past the ball like John Stones had done.
Yeah.
So whether he'd picked that injury up prior to that, or whether it's when he's played the ball and then planted his foot and his whole of his body weight has just sort of ended up stopping.
Yuri Tielemans has equalised for Aston Villa live on TalkSport against Liverpool, 1-1 at Villa Park with about 7 minutes to half time. Here on TalkSport 2, 8 minutes have gone in the Bernabeu. Real Madrid already 1-0 up on Manchester City through Kylian Mbappe. It was actually Raul Asensio who provided that beautiful ball over the top. Ruben Diaz was running back towards his own 18-yard line, tried to get a header back to the goalkeeper on it, but was falling and was nowhere near getting the touch, and Mbappe did the rest as you would expect him to. So it's 1-0 to the hosts and a 4-2 aggregate lead as we're back underway on TalkSport 2. And here is Asensio playing the ball from deeper inside his own half. This time it's intercepted by Gvardiol.
They've got a situation now where, you know, patience is probably not a virtue for Manchester City. They've got to come forward, and this could play right into the hands of this Real Madrid side who, well, certainly last week and this week, certainly I've identified they can score goals.
No away goals, let's not forget, in European competition now. So if Manchester City were to get it back to 2-1 on the night, that would at least force extra time, but that's the minimum they can hope for at this point. A draw would not be enough. Foden scheming his way down the right-hand side into the edge of the area. Marmoush touches it back to Bernardo Silva, rolls it across to Gvardiol, left-hand corner of the area, gets the ball onto his right. The shot is blocked by Tchouaméni. Comes back out to Gvardiol, who shows good strength and then goes down under a challenge from Rodrigo. And then Gvardiol goes in late on Ceballos, and a free kick to Real Madrid. And the Madridistas in the Bernabeu howl for a yellow card for the Croatian left-back. 1-0 to Real Madrid on the night.
Yeah, there was absolutely nothing in that whatsoever. Guardiola's not raised his feet in any way, shape or form. Good refereeing. And City have to gather their composure now. It's one of those, you know, you've got a game plan to start the game, you know you're a goal down, and then to concede this early goal. Just a case of steady it down a little bit, just play our way back into the game.
That's the thoughts of former Manchester City manager Stuart Pearce alongside me, Ian Tanter, here on TalkSport 2. Choice of listening tonight across the network in the Premier League and the Champions League. Villa 1, Liverpool 1, currently at Villa Park as they approach half-time there on TalkSport. 1-0 here to Real Madrid on TalkSport 2 with 10 minutes played at the Bernabeu. Nico Gonzalez for City finds Foden inside right position, midway point of the half. Kuzanov on the overlap, tries to drive the ball on the deck into the box, but Ferland Mendy gets a ricochet on it, goes out of play for a City throw on the far side, the City right. Kuzanov looking for an option. Foden and Bernardo Silva have both come short. Marmoush, the only City player inside the 18-yard box, now comes to the edge to try and chest the ball back to Kuzanov, but Real Madrid have possession. Vinicius, though, dispossessed, was he? No, the ball had gone out of play as City tried to rob the ball back. So a throw-in to Real Madrid. They're meeting each other in the Champions League for the fourth successive season, Real Madrid and Manchester City. And Real knocked out Pep's men in the quarter-finals last year and in the 2022 semi-finals on the way to winning the thing.
And sometimes it's better to be lucky in the draw a little bit. I know you've got to beat some magnificent sides to get your hands on this trophy, but it certainly pays not to play Real Madrid in February when your form's not as solid as it might be.
And therein lies the risk of not finishing high up in the mega table that we've seen for the first time this season in the Champions League, with 36 teams vying for 24 spots. Real Madrid in possession, 12 and a half gone, leading by a goal to nil. It's out on the left hand side with Vinicius, tucks it in field for the goal scorer Mbappe. Now Chouameni leaves it for Ceballos, just by the centre circle. Clip to Valverde, playing at right back. Lucas Vazquez is back on the bench for Real Madrid tonight. He's been absent for a little while, but Valverde, the Uruguayan, doing a pretty solid job in his absence at full-back. Although Real Madrid haven't won in 3 domestically, having a little bit of a hiccup, and Barcelona have just nipped ahead of them in the La Liga table on goal difference. 13 minutes gone, Real in possession. It's with Ceballos, leaves it for Chouameni in the centre circle. Again Valverde strokes it out to this near touchline on Rodrigo. He plays a 1-2 with Valverde. Now a run being made by Bellingham down the right hand side, but instead Rodrigo just schemes his way in field, and then stroked out by Ceballos to Vinicius Junior, left hand side, running at Kusanov, getting down the left hand side of the box, pulls it into the near post, and it's blocked behind by Ruben Diaz for a Real Madrid corner. They lead 1-0 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate.
Well, Vinicius Junior there just made a statement against Kusanov. He backed off, the defender done well to start with, and then Vinicius Junior just checked his run, flat-footed Kusanov, and then went again, and at that stage he was lost.
So a left-wing corner for Real Madrid. There'll be a right-footed in-swinger, packed 6-yard boxes. It's smacked into the near post, flicked on by Bellingham, and it wasn't that far wide of the far post. He got up at the near, did Bellingham, and it was probably only a yard or so wide of Ederson's far post. Deliberate flick on from the Englishman, but it stays out, and it's a goal kick to Manchester City. 1-0 Real.
Yeah, probably not as close as you and I were suspecting it might have been with the early flick on. Just darted in front of Gundogan.
He was certainly unmarked. He got a very clear header on there from that first Real Madrid corner. Foden for Manchester City. Nico Gonzalez now back to the edge of the area. Bernardo Silva's come very deep in between the two centre-halves, which are now Diaz and Ake, with Stones having gone off very early on in the piece, if you're just tuning in. Just after Kylian Mbappe had given Madrid the lead inside 4 minutes, Stones then appeared to tweak a knee or something and has gone off. City coming forward on the 15-minute mark with Kusanov, Savinho, picked up now by Foden down the right-hand side, trying to step inside the challenge, and he's brought down and has won Manchester City a free kick about 30 yards from the dead ball, but out on the right-hand side. 1-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, City need to grab something from somewhere, that is for sure. They just need something to fall their way at this moment in time. Madrid looking reasonably comfortable within the game, but they got the opportunity now to toss the ball in from a wide free kick,
and it will be possibly Foden to send this in left-footed. Ake, freshly on as a substitute, has gone into the penalty area. Nico Gonzalez has got some height in there as well, and he's just pushed into a Real Madrid player as the kick was about to be taken, spotted by Mr. Kovac, the Romanian referee. And I think the kick will have to be taken again. Just pushing into Raul Asensio and knocking the centre half to the ground just as the ball was about to be struck, and the referee wants a word with both players before he's going to allow the kick to be taken again.
And I'm not sure Gonzalez has got a case to turn around for himself there. He just grabbed hold of Asensio and shoved him on the floor.
Yeah, it wasn't much subtlety in that. comes the free kick. Marmoush to whip it in. Headed away by Madrid and out to the near side, the left. Thumps into the advertising hoardings, and Manchester City have a throw on their left-hand side. Almost level with the penalty area for Real Madrid. 17 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Bernardo Silva's going to leave this throw for Josko Gvardiol. Aston Villa have just taken the lead right on half-time over on TalkSport against Liverpool. They have come from behind. Ollie Watkins putting Villa in front. That's live on TalkSport right now at what must be an absolutely jumping Villa Park. Santiago Bernabeu's not exactly quiet at the moment. Real Madrid already 1-0 up. City trying to come forward down the right-hand side, but Foden is dispossessed. Mbappe knocks it back to Chouameni. Now Ceballos looks up to halfway. Played back to Aurélien Chouameni. And the Frenchman just glides into the centre of his own half. And then Ceballos works it out left to Vinicius, who can have a run at Kusanov now. Down the left-hand side, couple of step-overs. Works it infield to Mbappe at the edge of the area. Went for goal, deflected and wide for a Real corner on their right-hand side. 1-0 to the Spaniards.
Yeah, you just get the impression with Real Madrid, I don't know what you do, Dance, but you get the impression they're comfortably in second or third gear, and if they need to raise it, they can go after any teams and actually put you on the back foot and win the game.
I agree. They've got another couple of gears. 18 and a half minutes gone. Rodrigo with a corner, flicked onto the near post by Bellingham, cleared away by Gvardiol, but Vinicius on the scene, left-hand side to pick up the loose ball. Has to work it back down the line to the middle of the half, and it's worked back to halfway. Rudiger, the German centre-half, plays it right to Dani Ceballos. Now Rodrigo tucks it in field for Bellingham. Ceballos again. Half-time at Villa Park. It is 2-1 to Villa. Bellingham tries to send it across from deep for Real Madrid. It's blocked at source by Gundogan, but Real Madrid just work it back into the centre circle. And it's with Dani Ceballos once again. Chouameni into the feet of Bellingham, who had defender at his back, Nico Gonzalez, but here comes Rodrigo into the edge of the area, square for Mbappe inside the D, gets it on his left, the shot again blocked by Diaz for yet another Real Madrid corner as we approach the 20-minute mark on TalkSport 2.
Just looking at these couple of previous corners, Dance, it's Gundogan who's in that near post zone, and people are just getting in front of him basically and just getting first contact, and he's got to be a little bit stronger than that, and he's got to get his body shape right to know when they're coming. It's been Bellingham who's got that first contact on 2 occasions.
Well, he'll be presumably stationed at that near post again. Ceballos coming across to take the corner kick for Real Madrid in the northwest corner on the far side of the field. Rudiger and Bernardo Silva getting involved. That's an unfair fight if ever I saw one. And the referee's coming across to have a word with 1 or 2 players in that tightly congested 6-yard box. Again, it's Bernardo Silva and Rudiger one-on-one. Corner's rolled out to the centre of the half and driven towards goal, and only just wide. It skims the side netting. The shot came in from a good 35 yards out as it was headed away and just driven in via a deflection for another corner. The shot came in from Valverde, the fullback, who was last man. Another corner to Real.
Yeah, it is, and once again it's Gundogan hovering around that near post, and Bellingham starting on the near post, just getting in front of his man.
He looks again for the flick on, comes out to the edge of the area, although City get the rub of the green this time. Marmoush tries to ride the challenge of Chouameni, but it's won back by Real Madrid. Paris Saint-Germain taking the lead against Brest. And that was, well, it's 3-0 already to Paris Saint-Germain from the first leg. Now, Kusanov missed the first header as Real Madrid sent a diagonal ball right to left, trying to find Vinicius. And eventually, the young Brazilian falls to the turf, slips, and Manchester City could try and bring it clear. We're approaching the midway point of the first half of this second leg on TalkSport 2. Manchester City trailing 3-2 from the first leg. Already a goal down tonight, courtesy of Kylian Mbappe's beautifully placed lob inside 4 minutes. City have given the ball away on halfway. Bellingham just trying to glide past Nico Gonzalez, driving down the left-hand side. And trying to go on the outside of Kusanov into the area left-hand side. Bellingham still twisting, still turning, playing across the edge of the box. And Diaz turns it behind for another Real Madrid corner. 1-0 to them.
Yeah, they're forcing a lot of these set plays. Gonzalez well outpaced there by Bellingham, who's reasonably quick, but certainly not a speed merchant. A few high fives for Kusanov, who's defending prowess.
So another corner, and Bellingham again makes the run to the near post. This time it goes under the crossbar. Edison gets a strong punch to it, clear. Brought down neatly by Ceballos. Now Mbappe popping up right-hand corner of the penalty area. 2 City defenders for company, so he rolls it back to Valverde. And he tucks it back in field to Ceballos, who's right next to the centre circle. City push out to try and put him under pressure, so he decides to roll it back to Thibaut Courtois, who's had a pretty quiet 23 minutes so far in the Real goal. 1-0 to the Madridistas.
Yeah, Ancelotti will be absolutely delighted that his goalkeeper, all he's had to do really is field the ball with his feet. I don't think he's had to do it. I can't remember him picking the ball up.
Nor can I.
In anger.
Nico Gonzalez flicks the ball downfield looking for Marmoush, but Chouameni very calmly steps in and flicks the ball back again to Courtois, who again doesn't need to use his hands and will just clear it out. Right-footed Bellingham, neat drop of the shoulder, and then wins a throw off Bernardo Silva. It's a bit swagger about Real Madrid, as you might expect from the 15 times winners, but they've struggled just as much as Manchester City have in this competition so far this season. They did lose to Milan here in the group stages, and Marmoush has just trodden on the boot of Raul Asensio, and Real Madrid have a free kick midway through the first half on TalkSport 2. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. 4-2 on aggregate. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, just looking at the replay of Mbappe's goal, I've got to say, perfection the ball. No doubt about that. 2 centre-halves think there's no danger here. You know, in between us is Mbappe, but we're fine. You know, if they play the ball over our heads, we've got it. We're no problem. All of a sudden, the ball is that good, and he's taken the finish on the upward bounce so quickly. It was magnificent.
Now Vinicius Junior sprinting away over halfway for Real Madrid, clipping it out to another speed merchant, Kylian Mbappe, left-hand side, works his way into the penalty area, got Diaz backpedaling, clips it to the far post, almost made its way through to Valverde, who was completely unmarked, but Ake got a vital touch to keep it away from the fullback. Work back into midfield and City win it back. Marmoush will drift out to this near touchline, up to the halfway line, and cleverly wins a throw off Valverde, but so nearly a gilt-edged chance for Real to make it 2-0 here.
Yeah, it was. When the ball come from Mbappe across the face of goal, for all intents and purposes, if Ake didn't get a touch on it, that ball feels very nicely for Valverde to get a 2-touch finish away.
Remember, Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 1. It's a half-time score. Live on TalkSport tonight. And next week, all 10 midweek Premier League matches are exclusive to the TalkSport network. Games on TalkSport, TalkSport 2, on Talk Radio, and on the TalkSport app. And that will include the likes of Liverpool against Newcastle. Arsenal fans will be wearing big Aston Villa scarves tonight, hoping that that scoreline that I've just given you from Villa Park stays the same through to the 90-minute mark. Manchester City in possession with Gvardiol, midway point of the Real Madrid half, trying to get a foothold in the game. Bernardo Silva out there on the left-hand side with Gvardiol. Just can't get hold of the ball. Rodrigo stuck his foot in, and then he cleverly wins a throw off Gvardiol. It ricochets into the path of Carlo Ancelotti, who controls the ball well enough. And it's a throw into Real Madrid. 26 and a half minutes gone on TalkSport 2. 1-0 to the home side on the night.
Yeah, we've just seen nothing from City from an attacking point of view, really. Savinho, I can't remember. Foden's been knitted things together, but certainly nothing in the final third that's threatened Real Madrid in any way, shape or form.
Now Bellingham looking to release Mbappe with the ball with the outside of his boot down the inside left channel, but City managed to intercept Gundogan, who came back to City from Real's great rivals Barcelona in the summer. Gundogan has it just ahead of the centre circle, tries to thread it through to Marmoush. Real win it back, and then Rodrigo's clattered into by Ilkay Gundogan. Again, the whistles go up, and so does the yellow card from Mr. Kovacs, the referee. And that's the first player in the notebook tonight. Ilkay Gundogan booked for that challenge on Rodrigo. 1-0 to Real Madrid.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit harsh, Gundogan. I think Rodrigo knew exactly what he was doing, was going to buy the foul and take the foul where he was, but he was slightly late.
Here is Ceballos and Bellingham inside their own half, combining. Mendy goes up to halfway as TalkSport listeners join us. 27 minutes gone. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. It only took Real under 4 minutes to hit the front when a lovely ball over the top from centre-half Raul Asensio got Kylian Mbappe in behind Stones and Diaz. A superb lob over Ederson put Real Madrid in front. Moments after that, John Stones had to limp off with what looked like a knee problem aggravated by passing the ball out wide. He wasn't caught, and Nathan Ake's had to come on, and really Stuart Pearce, the only unemployed player out on that pitch, is Thibaut Courtois, as Mbappe comes through again, drives the ball straight to Ederson, who palms it out to the right hand side, and once again the ball over the top nearly did for Manchester City.
Yeah, it caught Diaz out there, good movement by Mbappe, spun in behind him, and he took it on the bounce and straight at the goalkeeper. But what you don't see, there's two teams here. One that's prepared to play the ball over the top when it's on in Real Madrid and got their goal from it. I'm not seeing a runner or a ball in behind the back line from a Manchester City player, and there's something I think maybe part of their game when things are not going so well that they've got to feed into their game potentially.
A reminder that Erling Haaland is only amongst the substitutes for Manchester City this evening. Omar Marmoush leading the line, and he's barely had a kick. Mendy out to the left hand side for Vinicius Junior, down the Real Madrid left, sprinting infield to get away from Kusanov, tries to play it into the run of Rodrigo, who tracked a run from right to left, but City intercept, and it goes back to Ederson, who's being closed down, but he still manages to get the ball clear. Now Marmoush scrapping for possession with his youngster Raul Asensio, whose brilliant through ball put Mbappe away, and that goal is what gives Real Madrid a 2-goal advantage. 4-2 they lead on aggregate. Commentary continues on TalkSport 2 on the night with half an hour gone. It's Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0.
Top quality defending there by Asensio. Just got his position right against Mahmoud and just saw it out and just helped it back to his goalkeeper.
He's 22 years of age, Raul Asensio. It's his breakthrough season coming from the Real Academy, and he looks a very composed young man indeed. Foden went in for a challenge with Mendy and has gone down clutching his chest, felt he was caught. Pep Guardiola speaks to the assistant and the fourth official saying, why has that not been given as a free kick? And was Mendy deliberately leaning into Foden to take his man out?
Yeah, the situation was Foden had his foot up though. That's probably what the referee half had his eye on.
It was Tchouaméni who put the through ball through for Mbappe the second time just a moment or so ago. Chance was more difficult for Mbappe because Diaz was at least level with him, not quite goal side, and the ball was just drifting away from Mbappe as it dropped over his right shoulder. But he still got a good shot away. Well dealt with by Ederson in the City goal. 1-0 to Real Madrid, 31 minutes gone in the Champions League. Live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. Ian Danter and Stuart Pearce, the former Manchester City manager, with you on TalkSport 2 tonight. And Guardiola just nudges Rodrigo off the ball, thought he'd won it cleanly, but not so, says the Romanian referee. And it's a free kick to the hosts.
Yeah, I think City have probably got to make it a little bit more uncomfortable for Real Madrid. They seem very comfortable in their possession play. If anything, you would say it looks like Madrid more favourites to score the next goal, and I think if that is the case, and certainly if it comes before half-time, that will be a disaster for Man City.
Half-time in the Championship between two strugglers at Kenilworth Road, and no goals between Luton Town and Plymouth Argyle. Here's Courtois playing the ball into the feet of Chouameni at the edge of the D. There's something of a high press on from Manchester City, but they look so casual, Real Madrid, and untroubled. Chouameni will just float it out to this near side, the Real Madrid right, and Rodrigo, faced up by Silva, nicks it out to Valverde. Infield for Bellingham on the half turn, slips it down the right hand side for Vinicius. Early ball up to the edge of the area, and it will migrate for Mbappe. Inside his man, 2-0. Oh, that's wonderful from Kylian Mbappe. Sold the City defender, jumped him on the seat of his pants, and then just rolled the ball past Ederson. And Manchester City have a mountain to climb if they are to avoid going out before the round of 16 stage for the first time in over a decade. 12 to half time. Real have 2, Mbappe has 2. It's 5-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, your commentary earlier was spot on. It was a high press, but not an aggressive press. And none of the Real Madrid defenders were in any way, shape or form panicked into making a rush pass. They comfortably played through the thirds, and in the end it was a wonderful team goal, I've got to say that. Great composure from Mbappe, put Guardiola on his backside and then slotted it past Ederson.
And he's taken to showing how the goals went in when he's celebrating Mbappe tonight. He did the little sign of a dink for the first goal. Now he's talking about sliding defenders, getting nowhere near him for the second.
He's going to put me and you out of work soon, you know, if he keeps describing his goals in that manner. But we need some voiceover from him.
12 minutes to half time, and is this game already drifting towards an inevitable and sorry conclusion for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City? And it's no different to what you said, in fairness, Stuart Pearce, before the game, that you haven't seen enough, despite the mini revival that City have had in recent weeks, domestically speaking. You haven't seen enough in those performances to suggest that the consistency would be there on a night like this, against opponents like this.
100%, and against teams that have not been at it. Newcastle, Chelsea and Forest over the last 4 or 5 months that have actually, City have beaten in the Premier League. They've not been at it on that given day. Newcastle were poor at the weekend, and that's the defining moment, I'm afraid to say.
So now Manchester City have to find 3 unanswered goals. 10 to half time. Good strong run down the centre of the pitch. Will release Marmoush, left hand corner of the box. Across comes Raul Asensio and puts the ball out of play for a corner kick, and has a chest bump with Rudiger celebrating what was a fairly regulation challenge. But they're pumping themselves up, Real Madrid, 2-0 up as they are on the night.
They are. When Marmoush went through, you thought to yourself, don't make a challenge here, you're going to be in trouble if you don't get it right. I'll tell you what, it was a magnificent challenge. Great timing from the young player Asensio.
But it is a corner to Manchester City at the south stand end. Be a right-footed in-swinger from Marmoush. Nico Gonzalez standing closest to Courtois. First corner of the game for City, flicked on at the near post. Well, the attempted flick on from Gundogan didn't get anything on it, and Real Madrid could volley it clear for a throw-in.
Yeah, City need to get a goal out of absolutely nothing to get back in this game. At the moment, it won't be a build-up of pressure or anything of that nature. It'll just come totally out of the blue and from nothing, because at this moment in time, they're not threatening at all.
With Erling Haaland, how long before he gets thrown on. I can just imagine him. I can't see him down there, but just skulking in that sort of shape in the Manchester City
Bond villain-esque.
Yes, exactly. Waiting to emerge. Cross from Manchester City, looking for Gundogan. Oh, it flicked off the top of his head. It's a decent cross from the right. And then Rodrigo's caught again by Guardiola again. Oh, don't tell me he's going to get a yellow card here. Gundogan's been booked already. He was the player that took out Rodrigo before. Now Guardiola takes out the number 11 with a fairly agricultural challenge. We're seeing a replay of the goal. Lovely half turn from Bellingham. Slipped Vinicius away down the right hand side. Got to the corner of the box. And then, well, Rodrigo just waited for Mbappe to be in the right position to play a short pass to him.
Yeah, in the whole phase of play, from the build-up from the back right the way through, I don't think there was any of the Real Madrid players that were really rushed or bodied out of playing an early pass or a rush pass. It was all too easy for them.
Bellingham is going to get a yellow card here for a poor challenge on the halfway line on Phil Foden, and he thinks better of having a go at the referee based on what happened to him on Saturday against Leganes.
Indeed, that little bit of experience. I think it was unfortunate for him. You know, the ball's bounced between. He's put his foot up to get the ball. He's just gone over the top of that. You can see why the referee's brandished the yellow, but a little bit harsh on him.
That does mean that Bellingham will miss Real Madrid's next Champions League encounter, whoever that may be against, Atletico Madrid or Bayer Leverkusen, whoever that may be. 7 minutes to half-time on TalkSport 2. Manchester City need to get a foothold in this game desperately before half-time. A poor touch by Kuzanov on the right-hand side, and then he just pushes into the back of Jude Bellingham, and a free kick to Real Madrid. 2-0 on the night, 5-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, Dan, you talked about the introduction of Haaland. There might be two stories behind this. A, is he fully fit and the manager doesn't want to chance him? Or secondly, he might even look at this game and think the game's beyond them. And what's the point in taking that risk with him?
We may get the full story from Pep Guardiola post-match, although he can stay tight-lipped on these sorts of things at times. Back underway at Villa Park, live on TalkSport. Aston Villa 2-1 up on Liverpool at half-time. Had a good chance to make it 3 just a moment or so ago, but it stays 2-1. Ollie Watkins with that late first-half goal to put Villa in front, having been behind. Just over 5 minutes to half-time here on TalkSport 2. Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 0. Mbappe trying to set Vinicius away down the left-hand side. But on this occasion, Kuzanov gets himself between man and ball and tidies up. Gets it back to his goalkeeper. Mbappe thought he was fouled off the ball, incidentally. And the referee tells him to get back up and play on.
It's like the Spanish Inquisition with a Frenchman just then, I think.
Well, I bet his Spanish isn't bad. Oh, Jude Bellingham's Spanish is fantastic. I've seen him do post-match interviews, Jude, and he's very much taken to speaking Spanish. Paris Saint-Germain 2-0 up on Brest. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia has the second for the Parisians, who are now 5-0 up on aggregate. I think they could be Liverpool's opponents potentially.
Well, that will be some game. As I say, this one's an absolute rascal of a tie between two European heavyweights. Liverpool PSG potential as well.
Here's Nico Gonzalez for Manchester City down the right hand side, tries to play it in field. It comes off him last of all. He wanted a corner down the right hand side, but instead it came off his chest, and it will be a goal kick. And I still don't think Courtois has got his gloves dirty.
You're right, we're just looking at a replay of a potential foul on Mbappe there earlier, and he was right, he had the shirt pulled off his back.
Saw him at the Euros, he had that broken nose, man in the mask. He looked nowhere near as settled and happy as you normally expect him to be, Kylian Mbappe.
No, he couldn't beat anyone at the Euros, incredibly, you know what I mean? And he showed tonight, he certainly got that turn of pace that can hurt you.
Couldn't beat an egg. Couldn't beat an egg in Germany, could he? But yes, back to his imperious best, it seems, Kylian Mbappe, particularly tonight. He's on a hat-trick. And we've still got over 3 minutes of the first half to play on TalkSport 2. Courtois just gently fires the ball out to Valverde, the right-back, who can get up to halfway without a challenge from a City player. Works the ball in field looking for Mbappe, but that just evaded the number 9. And Ake on early as a substitute for the stricken John Stones tidies up for Manchester City. Now Nico Gonzalez finds Gundogan striding over the halfway line. Surely one of those defensive pivots in front of the back four has got to be sacrificed for Manchester City if they want to try and mount a comeback here.
Yeah, what I haven't seen from them is a real counter-attack threat, City. You know, when they're taking the ball off Madrid in the advanced areas, I've never seen them go from back to front really quickly, where you thought, a quick break's on here. It's a slow build-up, a laboured build-up, and the opposition have got a chance to get players back behind the ball.
Nico Gonzalez, just ahead of the centre circle, rolls the ball into the feet of Savinho. Savinho just slips at the wrong moment in the centre of the Madrid half, and the hosts have it back, and Bellingham just gliding towards the halfway line, lays it off to Chouameni. Mendy, two Frenchmen exchanging passes now. Dani Ceballos gives it back to Aurélien Chouameni. Just looks so casual in possession, Real Madrid, like nothing's too much trouble.
No, as I say, there's an advanced press by City, but it's not an aggressive press in any way, shape or form, is it?
It's very passive. Here's Rodrigo inside his own half, trying to trick his way past a couple of City challenges. Gvardiol does well and knocks it back to Ake inside his own half, and the Dutchman gets up to the halfway line. Nobody's making a run ahead of him. They're all coming towards the ball for Manchester City.
That was my whole point, Dan, that there is no movement in behind. Someone's got to make a movement in behind to break up this back line, you know. Real Madrid have shown exactly by the nature as at their first goal the problems that can cause. Everyone's facing the ball, everyone wants to feed.
Bernardo Silva out on the left-hand side. Only Marmoush in the box waiting for a cross at the moment. Now being joined by Savinho. Ball deflected off a Real defender and still not using his hands. Courtois slides in at the dead ball line and prevents a corner kick.
Yeah, as I say, when you look at a phase of play, an attacking phase of play, every player has got their back to goal, all the defenders and all the attackers. That can't be right. The attackers have got to be on the half turn almost.
Exactly, yeah, I was going to say, they don't have to be facing the goal, just ready to turn. Gundogan goes down, he's fouled by his opposite number, Ceballos. And that'll be a free kick to Manchester City in a decent position here as we edge towards added time. It's to the left of centre, probably about 30 yards out. Somebody's going to fancy a cracking goal here for Manchester City.
Well, you would hope so. I've been a little bit disappointed with the standard of free kick taking, I've got to say.
Well, it is out to the left-hand side. There is a wall being arranged now in front of Thibaut Courtois.
They need something out of nowhere, don't they, City? Just to give them give the team a sort of confidence shot, if you like. Certainly at this stage, just before half-time.
Only a two-man wall. Marmoush runs over the ball. Foden flicks it to the far post, and it goes beyond the City players who've gone forward, but it took a touch off on Madrid head, so City have a corner. Decent delivery from Foden. I think Gvardiol was the closest to getting a touch to send it towards goal.
Yeah, he looked favourite, Gvardiol, to be fair, to get to it, and it's just too high to him. And Bellingham, I think it was, that got a touch.
I think offside's been given.
I think you're right.
For Gvardiol, although Bellingham did indeed get the defensive touch to take it away from all the burgundy City shirts inside the box. So we're into that 2 minutes of minimum added time as Courtois hoofs the ball downfield. Little touch from Vinicius, won't break quite for Real Madrid. One last chance maybe in this half for Manchester City to create something. Bernardo Silva infield to Nico Gonzalez, quick ball for Foden out to the inside right channel. Savinho now maybe looking to run at Mendy, instead he tucks it back infield for Nico Gonzalez. Out to the right hand side and Kazanov, but he won't go forward, he goes backwards instead. Bernardo Silva to his left finds Nathan Ake, out to the left-hand side, and Gvardiol, early ball up to the left-hand corner of the box. Marmoush goes to ground, lost his balance as he tried to control the pass, and Madrid cleared Anfield, but there's nobody in all white on halfway for the home side.
The build-up's been so slow and laboured. Marmoush, I mean, when I've seen him in previous games, he's been full of energy, full of drive, and you think he's a bit of a handful, looks a good signing, but even he looks a little bit flat-footed and disappointed that ball doesn't come a little bit quicker.
And Bernardo Silva caught a little bit flat-footed there as City tried to work a triangular passes down the left-hand side of the Real Madrid penalty area, but it just goes harmlessly over the dead ball line from the Real point of view. And there goes the half-time whistle in the Santiago Bernabeu, and Manchester City now have to find 3 goals without reply in the second half just to force extra time, because Real Madrid, who've been totally dominant in this first half, have a 2-goal lead courtesy of a brace from Kylian Mbappe. It only took him 3.5 minutes to lob Real Madrid ahead after Raul Asensio's sensational ball over the top, catching out the City rearguard, and Mbappe did the rest from just outside the area, and then he made it 2 just after the half hour. Good work from Bellingham and Vinicius in the build-up play, and Mbappe just dumped Josko Gvardiol on the seat of his pants, dragging the ball inside and then rolling the ball into the bottom corner. My word, what a lot of work Manchester City have got to do in the second half. At the break at the Santiago Bernabeu in the Champions League, Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 0, 5-2 on aggregate to the Spanish side. Thanks, Adrian. Perfect timing, because Real Madrid are about to get the second half underway. No changes made by Carlo Ancelotti, or perhaps more significantly by Pep Guardiola at half-time. So it's the 11s that trooped off the pitch at the half-time whistle who start the second half. Real Madrid in all white, as usual at home, are kicking from right to left as we look towards the south stand end. City in their change strip tonight of all burgundy, heading for the north stand to our right-hand side. And for Madrid, Courtois in goal, Valverde, Rudiger, Asensio, Mendy, Ceballos, Tchouaméni and Bellingham, Vinicius, Rodrigo and Mbappe, who scored both goals tonight. For City, Ederson in goal, Kuzanov, Ake, Diaz, Gvardiol, Ake coming on early for the injured John Stones, Gonzalez, Gundogan, Foden, Silva, Savinho, Marmoush, making up the rest of the City starting lineup, for the likes of Haaland, Doku, Grealish, De Bruyne waiting on the bench as and when required. Remember, just to remind you, Manchester City now need to score 3 goals without reply from this point on, just to force an extra 30 minutes in this playoff tie. Again, Thibaut Courtois wearing that all sky blue goalkeeper kit for Real Madrid, doesn't use his gloves, clears the ball up to halfway, but it's neatly won back by Nathan Ake, who's drifted out to the left-hand side, midway point of the Madrid half, and Gvardiol will guide the ball back to halfway, and looks to play it out to the left maybe, no, just plays it back to square to Ilkay Gundogan. Oh, poor touch from Nico Gonzalez, and then he holds on. He's nearly taken Vinicius' shorts off. That's an easy yellow card for the referee, Mr. Kovac, to administer for Nico Gonzalez, who was quite literally pulling Vinicius' shorts off his back.
Honestly, fouls like that are just ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. He started off on his shirt, worked his way down his body, and then had 2 hands on his left side of his shorts pulling him down. It's almost beyond a yellow card, isn't it, really? It's so...
Yeah, get the second yellow card for embarrassing your opponent.
It's bordering sexual assault, that is, Dan.
2-0 to Real Madrid, and we've played 2.5 minutes of the second half. Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 2. It remains over on TalkSport with 15 minutes to play at Villa Park.
At the weekend, did Grealish come off as well?
Yeah, he did, but he is on the bench, so yeah. And Akanji also went off, and he's out for a number of weeks with an abductor problem, Manuel Akanji, which is why Kuzanov is playing at full-back tonight. It's a real problem area right back for Manchester City. We saw Matheus Nunes play there for a few weeks and had a terrible time against Club Bruges in the final group stage game where City had to win to make sure they made it just to this stage. Now here's a chance for Sabinho to run through the middle of the pitch, but Chouameni with a very strong challenge to win it back. Mbappe inside his own half, wheels away from Ake, rolls his foot on the ball, gets up to the halfway line and flicks it left for Ferland Mendy. Mendy infield to Bellingham, who strokes the ball back calmly to Rudiger. So Luton Town 1, Plymouth 0 in the one championship game tonight, involving two teams right at the foot of the table. And here come Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham left to Mbappe, Vinicius in space, left-hand corner of the box. Mbappe finds Bellingham with his back to goal at the edge of the D, rolls it right-hand side. It's tucked back for Rodrigo, and he fires the ball over the bar. Couldn't keep it down from just inside the 18-yard line. Stays 2-0 to Madrid, and Manchester City have a goal kick. Stuart Pearce.
Dance, I've got to say, the ease in which Real Madrid turned the ball over in their own half, deep in their own half, and played through City to a finish was incredible. Some of that's really good play, some of that is poor defending.
Ederson has the ball at his feet. The City goalkeeper plays it out to Kuzanov, the new arrival from Uzbekistan. Ball floated over halfway. Marmoush gamely giving chase, but Raul Asensio comfortably there first. Chouameni with a slightly lazy ball lobbed over the halfway line, and City win it back, but a poorly placed pass evades Foden, and Rudiger wins it back for the hosts. Now Mendy out to the near touchline, directly in front of Ancelotti. Vinicius Junior into the feet of Kylian Mbappe. Lovely twinkle toes from him on a hat-trick. Kylian Mbappe tonight, and his recent record in Champions League goal getting is pretty phenomenal. Bellingham, midway point of the City half, gives it back to Valverde. Him and Rodrigo now exchange passes. Just 1 and 2 touch football from Real Madrid now. 5 minutes gone. Casual as they have been pretty much all evening here.
Yeah, they've earned the right with these 2 goals to attack at will, and more importantly, keep possession at will.
Well, slid through looking for Vinicius, making a run. In slides Ruben Diaz and gets it away to the right-hand corner, but it's won back by Vinicius, moving into the area. Rodrigo's in front of goal, crosses blocked by Diaz, but Vinicius out towards the corner flag on the far side of the field, wins a throw for Real Madrid. And it's not just about skill and pace, Vinicius Junior. He's quite tenacious as well. He doesn't give up easily.
Yeah, certainly doesn't. As I say, Diaz had to be at full tilt there just to get a slide tackle in, just to stop that attack.
Ferland Mendy for Madrid. Oh, Mbappe just went through the gears from nowhere and just stepped away from Nico Gonzalez down the left-hand side of the box, tries to clip a ball into the area. And, well, City make an absolute haulix of that. Ruben Diaz has just put it behind for a corner kick under no real pressure. 2-0 to Madrid.
Yeah, as I say, poor play there. Kusanov managed to keep it alive on the touchline, shoved it inside, and it just from Diaz straight off to a corner, and Madrid have got another opportunity to put one in the box.
So 2-0 on the night, 5-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. Dani Ceballos with this corner kick, be a right-footed in-swinger from the Madrid left. Actually plays it short. He's got support from Vinicius. Rolls it back in field to Valverde. Across to Rodrigo at the centre of the half. He's going to go for goal, and it stings the palms of Ederson, who stooped down to make the save, and it's squirmed away from him. Madrid have it back. Vinicius down the left-hand side of the area. Oh, he dummies to get away from Gundogan, not once but twice. Floats it back to the edge of the box, but can't find a teammate. Valverde just had the ball taken away from him from Marmoush.
Yeah, and I'm quite surprised that there's been no subs at all from City. Makes me think Haaland's not fit, Grealish is not fit. They've just been taken out to keep the squad together for momentum.
Cross into the box, looking for a third, and Ruben Diaz has to clear from in front of his own goal line, facing the goal line, under pressure from Antonio Rudiger. Chouameni chips the ball up into the air. Guardiol heads clear, and he was caught by Chouameni inside the Manchester City penalty area, and so the Premier League title holders have a free kick inside their own area. 2-2 with 10 minutes to go at Villa Park over on TalkSport in the Premier League between Aston Villa and Liverpool. In fact, just had a goal ruled out for offside at Villa Park. Remains all square. Certainly not the case here. Foden carried the ball straight into the path of Ceballos, who won it back very comfortably for Real Madrid. Bellingham plays the ball along the halfway line, left to right, to pick out Valverde. He plays a short 1-2 with Rodrigo. Chouameni now in the centre circle. He's been playing at centre half in recent weeks, back in his more familiar holding midfield role tonight. Here he is again in the centre circle. Calmly passes out left to Ceballos, who hits the ball against Bernardo Silva, has to hurry back, level with his own penalty area to guide the ball back to Courtois. Nearly 10 minutes gone in the second half. You're listening to Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 0 in the Champions League on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. It's about double the attendance you'll have in the Santiago Bernabeu tonight, where it's 2-0 to Madrid. Stuart Pearce is alongside me this evening on commentary.
Yeah, so far, Dan, it saddens me to say, but it's been a very, very comfortable evening for Real Madrid. You know, they've got this early goal that gave them the confidence, shook the confidence of the City side, and I don't think we've had a shot from City that's really troubled Courtois this evening.
So still 5-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. PSV have just taken the lead against Juventus in that very close tie. That's now 2-2 on aggregate in Eindhoven. Ivan Perisic, once of Tottenham, has given PSV the lead. Rudiger in possession for Real Madrid at the edge of his own penalty area. Plays the ball along the deck and finds Vinicius Junior inside his own half. Now he's looking to outrun Kusanov down the left-hand side, but good defending from the fullback. Made sure that Vinicius didn't get round him. You might remember Gareth Bale running round a defender in a Classico, running off the pitch and still easily having the pace to outstrip his opponent. Kusanov did well there to stop Vinicius doing something similar.
Well, I think we've just seen like Kusanov is playing right back, that little bit of pace. He certainly has got to turn a foot.
Here he is trying to fire the ball in field from the near touchline. Wins a throw for Manchester City as Plymouth Argyle equalise. Maxim Talaviorov, with 20 minutes to go at Kenilworth Road, makes it Luton 1, Plymouth 1 in the Championship. In the Champions League, Manchester City have still to trouble the Real Madrid goal with a shot on target. Here though is Gvardiol trying to tuck the ball into the area for Savinho, but Real Madrid win it. Little flick from round the corner from Mbappe. Finds first Vinicius and then Rodrigo. Back to Vinicius in the centre of the City half. Plays it out to the right hand side. Great run from the fullback Valverde. Fires it across. Mbappe puts it just wide. Ederson did enough to deny Kylian Mbappe a hat-trick. The ball flashed across the face of goal from Valverde. Might have been a suspicion of offside against Mbappe. And he went in the 6-yard box, and Ederson got something on it. Corner kick.
Brilliant movement from Mbappe, but probably even braver goalkeeping from Ederson, who smothered him, got his right arm on it.
But it is a corner kick. Mbappe just saying to his teammates, it's an impact injury. Might be a dead leg or something that he's picked up, or he's looking at his left shin after the collision with Ederson. The ball was flashed across at great pace by Valverde, and Mbappe got there first and tried to toe end it towards the bottom corner. And it was on target, but good goalkeeping from Ederson. And once Mbappe has now got to his feet and makes his way behind the goal line, Real can have this corner, 2-0 up.
Yeah, and he's kept his 100% record going of describing exactly by the medium of mime what the injury or the goal looked like.
Clearly a tribute to Marcel Marceau this evening from Kylian Mbappe.
That well-known French international of the 80s.
Exactly. Here comes the corner from Vinicius, right under the crossbar, well caught in front of goal by Edison with both hands. He was under pressure from Rudiger, bowls it out over arm to Savinho, and Savinho just jinks away from a challenge and moves into the Real Madrid half. Now running at Rudiger, good run from Savinho, everything to his left, rolls it across into midfield, and Marmoush couldn't get a touch on it. Valverde with a great challenge, but it will break for Manchester City once again. Gvardiol, left-hand corner of the box, finds Gundogan, plays a 1-2 with Foden. Now Gvardiol again down the left-hand side of the box, gives it back to Ilkay Gundogan. They won't take a shot here at the moment, Manchester City. Gvardiol finds Gundogan again, who's now darting into the area. Back to the Croatian fullback, just keeping the ball between the moment, those two. Gvardiol gives it back to Gundogan down the left-hand side of the box, tries to play it across the face of goal, and Valverde 60 behind for a Manchester City corner as we approach the hour mark. Still 2-0 on the night to Real, 5-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, you just can't help getting the feeling that maybe Pep's just given up on this game, you know, not reaching for the substitutes bench. City looking as though they need someone to stretch the opposition's defence, or a Doku that can go past somebody, and they're so laboured, the attacks.
Marmoush with the left wing corner, right-footed in-swinger. Up goes Courtois, uses his hands for the first time this evening and makes the most comfortable of catches.
Yeah, and we're looking at the difference here. The counter-attack, Real Madrid have gone with real pace, and City have had to sprint back in numbers, which they have done.
Although now, luckily for City, Vinicius decides to check the run and halt the counter-attack, and they just calm things down, the hosts. Although it's Mbappe now, right-hand corner of the area, onto his left, 3-0, hat-trick, brilliant, Real going through, City going out, that surely is that, and Kylian Mbappe scores a quite sensational hat-trick, 6-2 on aggregate, and for the first time, Pep Guardiola will not take Manchester City into the round of 16 in Europe's premier club competition, because Real Madrid have seen them off. 3 goals in each game.
They've been so clinical. I've got to say, you can't ship 6 goals over 2 legs and hope to go through against a side like Madrid. But, you know, City attack, and the attack runs aground a little bit, no momentum to it. Madrid get the ball, Courtois gets it from the corner, throws it out quickly, a really quick attack. City think they've got back in numbers, and Mbappe says, you know what, I'm just going to come inside here and open the goal up. And Edison just got fingertips to it but couldn't keep it out.
Mbappe, his last 5 knockout matches played in Spain, scored 3 goals for Paris Saint-Germain at Barcelona in 2021. Scored a goal for Paris Saint-Germain here in 2022. 2 goals for Paris Saint-Germain at Real Sociedad in 23-24. And for Paris at Barcelona. 2 goals for Real Madrid. Well, 3 now here against Manchester City. He is the man for these occasions and these points in the tournament. And whilst Haaland waits on the bench, it's the other number 9 that's grabbing all the headlines tonight for Real Madrid. 62 minutes gone on TalkSport 2, and it's a simply sensational hat-trick from Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, I've got a feeling we're not going to see Haaland or Grealish tonight, both players coming off with knocks. If they don't come on at half-time, potentially, I'm not sure you're seeing them when it's 3-0 on the night.
City trying to win it back high up the field, but Mendy steps in front of Bernardo Silva, clears it up to halfway. There was a foul on Ake from Rodrigo. They're into stoppage time at Villa Park in the Premier League. Still 2-2 between Aston Villa and Liverpool. That's live on TalkSport. right now, and the sports bar will follow the conclusion of this commentary on TalkSport. I get the feeling that Jason Cundy's getting a has anyone seen ready for anybody connected with the blue half of Manchester. It remains to be seen. 63 minutes gone. Nico Gonzalez tucks it in field for Foden, midway point of his own half. Gundogan striding towards halfway. Now, remember, Manchester City need 4 without reply, just to force extra time. Here is Gundogan, 30 yards from goal, just to the left of centre, rolling his foot on the ball. Plays it to his immediate right foot, Nico Gonzalez, out to Bernardo Silva on the right wing, faced up by Mendy. Clips inside on his left, rolls it back to the edge of the area. Touch from Gonzalez, keeps it away from Vinicius. And now Kuzanov. Out to the right-hand side again, and Bernardo Silva. Bellingham watching him this time. Gundogan at the right-hand corner of the area. Finds Foden, tried a shot, deflected up in the air. And, well, Thibaut Courtois made that look more difficult than it actually was, looking out of the sky with no Manchester City player around him. 3-0 Madrid on the night, 6-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, I think Madrid have put a marker down over these 2 games and said, you know what, if you think we've not finished particularly high up the league and you've written us off, do it at your own risk. It's certainly been very impressive this evening.
Well, we were talking about this off air, you and I, weren't we, Stuart, about the idea that some of the elite sides in Europe might just have underestimated what that 8-game mega-table league, how it might shake down towards those last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I think there was certainly a mentality that said it's harder not to qualify than to qualify, and almost said, well, if we don't make the top 12, we'll be okay. Well, I'll tell you what, all of a sudden you're in a knockout situation and the pressure's on a touch.
And Mbappe trying to flick it down the left-hand side to get Vinicius away, but Ruben Diaz did enough. It goes out of play for a throw. 25 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 0 in the UEFA Champions League. And I have to tell you, there's very little about this performance where you can accentuate the positive for Manchester City. It's been a very, very passive 65 minutes that they put in.
Yeah, and as they've been outplayed, it's fair to say they've not pressed particularly well. Certainly not threatened the opposition's goal. And you can't help thinking those 2 late goals the Etihad has taken the wind out of the sails.
Here is Foden, though, inside the Madrid half, getting into the middle of the half, going for goal from fully 35 yards out. Couldn't keep it down, and that sums up Manchester City's night. A shot from Foden that was nowhere near on target, whereas Kylian Mbappe has been dead-eye. 3 goals, all very different. A lob, a right-footed drag into the bottom corner, and a left-footed shot also into the bottom corner. And it's left Pep Guardiola and Manchester City in one heck of a spot. But here is Marmoush trying to guide his way down the left-hand side of the area. Great defending this time from Valverde, the fullback, and it just ends up being a Real Madrid goal kick. 3-0 to the hosts, and they are 6-2 up on aggregate.
Yeah, they're enjoying their evening's work at the moment, there's no doubt about that. Real Madrid.
Villa just went very close to winning it against Liverpool in the last minute of added time over on TalkSport. Daniel Malin with a shot that apparently just whistled to the wrong side of the post from Villa's perspective. Here's Bellingham for Real Madrid, who may well treat this last quarter of the game like a training session. You could argue they've treated the first 3 quarters of this game as exactly that.
Yeah, they certainly have. They've been comfortable, they've not been extended in any way, shape or form. And the fact that City have, apart from a forced change for John Stones very early on in the game, they've not even gone to the bench, have they? It's as though they've just let the game meander away from them.
Finished at Villa Park. Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 2. So it's an 8-point gap between Liverpool and Arsenal at the top of the Premier League. And it could have been worse for Liverpool and Arne Slot. A late chance for Doniel Malin to win it for Aston Villa, not taken. So it ends up with the points shared at Villa Park. Here's Nathan Ake for Manchester City meantime, with just over 20 minutes to play. Gundogan gives it back to the Dutchman, been closed down by Patrick Mann and Mbappe. Now Gvardiol down the far left hand side of the field, trying to play Foden in, but caught a bit flat-footed there, Foden, and it was comfortably won back by the hosts. And now Bellingham just chops the wall away from Bernardo Silva. Mendy under pressure, still finds Ceballos, who tries to turn away from a challenge. City thought they'd won it back, and then Mendy and Bellingham between them just deal with it. And Bellingham is so strong, just holds players off with ease when he looks like he's under pressure.
I think we've just seen the difference between the two teams there. You know, Guardiola could have slipped the ball in behind to Mamouche, who made a really good run, by the way. He was well clear.
And Mbappe into the area, pulls it back for Vinicius. It's blocked on its way to goal. Great run from Mbappe, who darted past Ake down the right-hand side of the box. Got to the dead ball line, tried to pull it back for Vinicius in front of goal, but there were enough City defenders back there in burgundy shirts to get it clear. 3-0.
Just that level of cutting edge, you know. City had the opportunity to play a ball in behind the back line, a comfortable ball, not a chance ball, and turned it down. Real Madrid did not turn it down when they had the opportunity to do exactly that a couple of moments later.
So 3-0 with 20 minutes to go on TalkSport 2 in the Champions League between Real Madrid and Manchester City with our friends at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. Every completed Madrid pass now getting the olé from around the Bernabeu. Bellingham making a strong run down the inside right channel, midway point of the City half. Tucks it in field for Tchouameni. Now Vinicius, poor touch, allowed Ake to get it clear, but there was nobody on halfway for Manchester City. And so Rudiger has all the time in the world to decide what he wants to do. Rodrigo plays the ball in field for Mbappe, centre of the Manchester City half. Now Tchouameni decides to give the ball back into square to Ceballos. Mendy in field for it. It's all 1 and 2 touch football, but play with a purpose and with pace, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it is. As I say, they've earned the right, they've scored the goals, they've won the game, and they're just enjoying their night's work, to be fair. It's not often in football that you can say, well, the game's comfortably won with 20 minutes or so to go, but it certainly looks like that's the case.
You could have argued that the game was comfortably in their grasp from just past the half-hour mark.
Indeed.
When Mbappe made it 2-0, let alone the hat-trick goal he scored in this half. Now Valverde pushing forward from right back, infield to Mbappe, a little over. I think it was meant for Vinicius, but Rodrigo picks it up, left-hand corner of the area, driving at Kusanov, goes inside him, then runs into the challenge of Nico Gonzalez. Bernardo Silva gets it half clear. Savinho tucks it back to Gundogan. City look to bring the ball clear. Well, again, Foden with a poor touch. He's had a very indifferent game tonight, Phil Foden. One of many.
Once again, there's no quick dynamic attack was there. They turned possession over in their own box, played it forward, and you thought, go forward with some runs, but no.
Mbappe onto his left foot, might find Vinicius. Oh, that's it wide with a rasping left-footed drive with very little backlift. Not sure how far wide that was of Ederson's right-hand post. A good 2 yards wide in the end. but hit with real venom by Vinicius. Stays 3-0 to Real Madrid, 6-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, opened the goal up there, had a good opportunity, but just a little bit wayward slashing at the finish.
Not that that's a problem for Carlo Ancelotti and Real Madrid. Given away, Bellingham has won it back off Kuzanov, finds Vinicius at the edge of the area, tried to curl it for the bottom corner, and Ederson pushed it away left hand side of his goal. Stays 3-0.
Yeah, we got defence versus attack at this moment in time, and when the defence actually turn it over, they just try to keep possession until Madrid take it off them again.
Ancelotti doesn't have the best record against Manchester City. He's only beaten them 3 times in 13 previous games before tonight. Lost 6 against a Pep Guardiola-led City side, including when he was manager at Chelsea and at Everton. But tonight, my word, how he's put one over on his old friend Pep Guardiola. 3-0 to the host with just over a quarter of an hour to go. Bernardo Silva for City, right-hand corner of the Real Madrid box. Looking to step away from Mendy. Rolling his foot on the ball, gives it to Kuzanov. He has to knock it back for Nico Gonzalez. Now Foden in a bit of space, centre of the half. Little floated diagonal ball looking for Guardiola, and that forced Valverde to flick the ball behind for a Manchester City corner away to the left-hand side. 3-0 to Madrid.
You can almost see the anguish on the City players' face. Confidence within this game draining away from them.
Vinicius with the most recent goal-bound effort for Madrid. City's corner played short. Marmoush trying to work his way into the area. A foot in for Madrid, gets the ball clear and down to halfway, where Bernardo Silva now picks it up. Drifts out towards the inside right channel. Gives it out to Kuzanov on the wing. Infield it goes for Nico Gonzalez. Diaz. Gundogan finds Kuzanov again. And Bernardo Silva. But nobody in the box really. Nobody central anyway.
No, there's a multitude of things here.
Foden's going to go for goal. Beaten away by Courtois. It was almost straight at him. Just had to move slightly to his left to palm away the shot.
Yeah, it's not a dynamic attack around the box. There's not players on the half turn looking to dart in behind. And when the ball does go into those wide areas you identified there, Dance, you know, all you can see is white shirts.
Here's Foden again driving forward for City up to the edge of the area. Good run. Plays it into Savinho. Got the shot away, but it was blocked by Raul Asensio, who stopped it getting anywhere near Thibaut Courtois' goal. And then there's a hefty challenge on a Real Madrid player who stayed down. Whistles go up around the stadium. City having a man advantage for the moment. Bernardo Silva cutting it field on his left, and the shot is over the crossbar. It'll be a goal kick, and Ceballos still down on the turf. Will now presumably get some treatment, although he's being helped to his feet now by his teammate Vinicius after he was caught by Bernardo Silva. But City had every right to play on. It wasn't classed as a head injury, so the referee didn't have to stop play. Bernardo Silva, his final shot over the bar, 3-0.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva realising he didn't catch him, so he weren't going to be the one to stop that. City about to make a change now.
Well, Phil Foden and Ilkay Gundogan have made way for Mateo Kovacic and James McAtee for these last 14 or so minutes at the Bernabeu. Just seeing a replay of the shot that Foden smacked goalwards. It was on target, but comfortably dealt with by Thibaut Courtois. And Real Madrid are making changes as well, and Kylian Mbappe and Dani Ceballos are both coming off. And Brahim Diaz, who scored against his old club Manchester City in the first leg at the Etihad, he's coming on, and so too is Eduardo Camavinga. Mbappe back to his very best. based on what we've seen tonight, Stuart Pearce?
Vance, he's been absolutely super tonight, running without the ball, running with the ball. He's led the line. He's got the 3 goals in the game. He's certainly played a big part in the result tonight, and probably over the 2 legs.
And he barely looks like he's broken sweat as he goes to sit down. Not a bad night's work for the mercurial Frenchman. 12 minutes to go. So a double change for both sides. Here is Kovacic getting involved early on, having just entered the fray for Manchester City. Support from Nico Gonzalez to his immediate right, but there's no real change in terms of system for Manchester City with those 2 changes. It's like for like, Stuart, really.
Yeah, it is. As I say, they've got players of the type of, Haaland on the bench, and you've got Doku on the bench and Grealish on the bench. For me, what he's done, he's brought the squad out here and just kept them together. I think 2 of the 3 certainly are not fit to play any part in the game, but it's a managerial statement to maybe bring them and keep the whole squad together, certainly when things are not going so well, if you like, at the club.
Liverpool next up for Manchester City on Sunday. That's the late afternoon kickoff at the Etihad. Sunday session, we'll have that covered for you on TalkSport Sunday afternoon, and then they go to Tottenham, and Tottenham are at Ipswich on Saturday on game day. That's our 3 o'clock kickoff here on TalkSport 2. Ipswich against Tottenham. Myself and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk will be at Portman Road for that one, and then I'm taking my first ever trip to the One Call Stadium on Sunday for Mansfield, in dreadful form in League One, up against Wrexham, looking for automatic promotion.
Well, I hope you bring my old teammate Nigel a little bit of good fortune.
Yeah,
they started the season so well as well, didn't they?
They were holding their own. Shot from Kovacic straight into the arms of Courtois, unruffled by that. Yeah, Mansfield have fallen away badly. No clean sheets, something like 12 and 8 or 9 without a win. But it is their first season back at League One level for quite some time. But can they stymie Wrexham's bid to get an automatic promotion spot? Wrexham lost last night to Leyton Orient at the racecourse. Phil Parkinson will want a reaction. Certainly had no reaction from Manchester City tonight. The early goal from Kylian Mbappe inside 4 minutes set the tone, and Mbappe has scored a sublime hat-trick this evening. As TalkSport listeners join us here with Real Madrid 3-0 up, cruising to a 6-2 aggregate win. We've got less than 10 minutes to go. And, well, how would you sum up Manchester City's 80 minutes or so in a few words so far, Stuart Pearce?
Well, listen, I don't think they've been aggressive enough in their press. A little bit too subservient when Madrid have got the ball, and Madrid have enjoyed their night's work playing against them, I've got to say. And as I say, a bit lacklustre at the front end of the team is probably how best to describe it.
An outstanding hat-trick from Kylian Mbappe has taken this game away from Pep Guardiola, who will not make it to the round of 16 for the first time as Manchester City manager. Commentary continues on TalkSport 2 with 81 minutes gone. Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 0, 6-2 on aggregate.
Oh, I tell you what, City got away with one there, I think.
Trying to play the ball around in their own defensive third, and Rodrigo was penalised for a little push. Meantime, there's a change being readied, I think. Indeed there is. And Luka Modric is going to come on here for Aurelien Tchouameni. When you look at Luka Modric's numbers, it's just mind-boggling. This is his 149th Champions League appearance. 184 caps for Croatia. 184. Even you never had that many for England.
I tell you what, though, they talk about resting players and over-facing players and all of that type of thing. The likes of Modric and Messi and Ronaldo, they just turn the games out as though, you know, they build up a resilience to, they want to play football, they play with a smile on their face. He's been an incredible performer.
He doesn't look any different, Modric, to what he did when he was 25. He's 39 now. Luka Modric.
I never knew that.
The look on Stuart Pearce's face when I gave Luka Modric his age then.
You're right, exactly what you're saying. He's looked no different to 10 years ago.
Over 570 appearances in nearly 13 years at Real Madrid. And he's on just to help see this game out. There's no jeopardy at this point for Real Madrid. He's just there to keep the clean sheet. I think that's the priority for Real Madrid now.
He's probably on about £1,000 appearance money, and I think his manager said, "Go on, son, get yourself on."
I would hope so. That he's got some incentive to get out there.
Yeah, it used to be the case when you used to manage. You always used to throw one on at the end, or one or two, because you knew they got something in their contract that would really help them out, you know?
You're just all heart, Stuart Pearce, aren't
That's
you?
the sort of manager I am.
Camavinga was. Hey, it's never too late. If ever you get tired of us. I don't really know what City were doing there, stopping Real Madrid taking a free kick. I don't think they were desperate to get it downfield by any stretch of the imagination. McAtee was very lucky to escape a booking there.
I think even the referee felt sorry for
Maybe
City
so.
on that occasion.
Well, here is Luka Modric on the right-hand side. Wanted to play it infield. Brahim Diaz wanted it back, but it's with Bellingham at the edge of the D. Finds Rodrigo. Oh, he hit it straight at Ederson. Weak shot. Trying to bend it round the goalkeeper, but hit it straight at Ederson. Having been set up by Bellingham, stage 3-0 Real Madrid, 84 gone.
Yeah, magnificent build-up play once again. Really clinical passing, 1 and 2 touch. When it landed at Bellingham's feet on the edge of the box, I thought he was going to volley it, to be honest with you. He's passed it, and Rodrigo hit it straight at the goalie.
TalkSport 2 in the Champions League. Don't forget, tomorrow night on TalkSport 2, we've got the Premier League darts for you, week 3 from Dublin. I'll be here with Abigail Davis and Scotty Dog, Scott Mitchell, to see who wins night 3 in Dublin. Luke Humphreys and Luke Little are the winners of the first 2 weeks of action in Belfast and Glasgow. That's from 7 o'clock tomorrow night on TalkSport 2 and the TalkSport Darts YouTube channel as well for our free watch-alongs. Here's Omar Marmoush for Manchester City. Into the area, guided back by Bernardo Silva. Kovacic lifts it out to the left-hand corner of the box. Savinho, faced up by Valverde, drives it into the near post. Rudiger got something on it, as he invariably does, at the back for Real Madrid. And he's there again, helping out Valverde. And he prevents a corner somehow, even though he looks to be running out of ground at the dead ball line. City have it back. Mateo Kovacic at the left-hand corner of the area. Gives it to Ake down the left-hand side of the box. He wants to cross it. There's 4 waiting. But instead they're just playing triangles around the edge of the penalty area. Modric hangs a leg out against his compatriot Kovacic, trying to win it back. And out it goes to the left-hand side, and Gvardiol down by the corner flag, but works it into the area. McAtee trying to make space. Modric slides in and gives away a corner to Manchester City as we enter the last 2 or 3 minutes of normal time. Can Manchester City at least get a consolation and put some respectability on the scoreline? 3-0 they trail by.
Tell you what, we just watched a replay there of that earlier Real Madrid opportunity, and Bellamy's first and second touches to set up Rodrigo was magnificent.
Well, I think we all wondered when Real Madrid made the offer to Borussia Dortmund to bring Jude Bellingham to the Bernabeu, how he would do at such an elite level. Into the area, chance for City to put the ball across the face of goal, and Kazanov got to the dead ball line, and the cross hit Thibaut Courtois amidships, I think, so he's got to count him once he gets back up, and it will be a corner kick to Manchester City again. 3-0 Madrid.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there, good defensive work as well. They've got numbers back in and around the area, and to be fair, they want to keep this clean sheet intact.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the unmentionables for Thibaut Courtois, but he's all right. Here comes the corner from Savinho, headed up and out by the redoubtable Rudiger. No, there's a foul on a City player at the edge of the area. Be a free kick, will it? Not a penalty. Yeah, the referee's marking down the old shaving foam right at the edge of the 18-yard line for a Manchester City free kick. It was McAtee that got brought down. Not much in it that I could see in the challenge from Brahim Diaz.
Yeah, slight elbow maybe. Just brushed him on his face, but it's in a brilliant position for a left footer.
It is. He landed half in, half out of the penalty area, McAtee. But the offence, as far as Istvan Kovac, the referee, was concerned, began outside the box.
I'll ask you a question while we've got a couple of minutes on our hands. Do you think Courtois has got a passing resemblance to Postman Pat?
Do you know, it never occurred to me until
I'll get a picture of him.
No, I'm right with you. Can he deliver from this free kick? Because here's Marmoush putting the ball across the face of goal. Modric gets a touch. I think it's Rudiger who caught one in the face from that free kick. And he's going to get back to his feet. And Rudiger, well, it'd be great for the Madridistas to see him back in the side tonight. He's not really been troubled. He would have had a much sterner test, you suggest, had Erling Haaland been out there tonight. But I think you're right, Stuart Pearce. I think there's a number of the, shall we say, walking wounded for Pep Guardiola who've been kept in reserve ahead of Liverpool on Sunday at the Etihad.
Yeah, I think what he's done, he's just travelled the squad and put them on the bench. We wasn't privy to have a good look at the warm-up, to be fair.
No.
I'd like to see exactly what the likes of Grealish and Haaland done in the warm-up, whether they were actually anywhere near being considered even.
Late double change for Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior and Valverde are off. David Alaba, he's back after a year out with an ACL injury. Missed the Euros for Austria. Was a big miss for his country in Germany. And we're also going to see the young 18-year-old Brazilian Endrick, who scored from 30 yards against Salzburg in the Champions League during the group stages. Scored 5 goals already in his first season, having moved from Palmeiras in his native Brazil. Into 2 minutes of added time on TalkSport 2. Manchester City coming forward, looking for what would only be a consolation goal, and they've won another free kick as Marmoush is brought down 25 yards from goal, quite central, by Camavinga.
Yeah, once again, decent opportunity. Slightly better press from City there, I've got to say. Managed to force a free kick dead central, probably about 20 metres out. Should really be working the goalkeeper from here.
As TalkSport listeners join us for the last couple of minutes in the Santiago Bernabeu. Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 0. 6-2 on aggregate to the Madridistas, and they have been untroubled pretty much all night, the men in white, because Manchester City have barely laid a glove on their opponents. It's Marmoush with a free kick. Hits the bar. Surely it'll be tucked in by Nico Gonzalez. It is no more than a consolation for Manchester City as Marmoush's free kick smacked against the crossbar, and Nico Gonzalez running in and had the simplest of tasks, just to tap it in for what is on the night Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 1, 6-3 on aggregate.
I've got to say, I'm very critical of some of the free kicks I see get taken, but Marmoush there, brilliant free kick, up and down over the wall. It smashed the crossbar. As it come back out, it's hit Courtois and slowed the momentum of the ball leaving the box. It's hit him literally on the back and left the ball in the 6-yard box. And well done on the follow-up from Gonzalez just to roll it over the line.
Well, they're just checking for any potential offside at the VAR hub in Nyon, just to make sure that this is a legitimate goal back. So Istvan Kovac, the Romanian referee, just waiting and pacing around on the pitch for the moment and waiting for instructions in his earpiece as to whether the goal is to be allowed.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this goal. I thought it was a great run by the following in players. 2 or 3 of them were following in. The still picture we saw looked as though everyone was onside.
Pep Guardiola with a rueful grin on his face, waiting for confirmation one way or the other about whether this goal stands. It's a fairly anticlimactic end to this Champions League playoff. The referee is confirming, I think, that the goal does stand. It does. It is 3-1. And so that was almost casually done by the referee. Said, yep, goal.
Yeah. To be fair, in the still picture we saw in front of us, it certainly, and live, it looked as though it was well onside.
6-3 on aggregate then. We played over the 2 minutes of minimum stoppage time that the referee added on. And it is just seconds to play in Madrid. City in possession just over the halfway line with Mateo Kovacic. Out to the left-hand side. Up to the edge of the area where Guardiola's trying to make a nuisance of himself. Kovacic almost runs into the referee, being marked by Camavinga. Gets it back, Kovacic. The ball squirts away from Camavinga. Referee looks at his watch. The ball's worked back into the City half. And there goes the full-time whistle. A friendly handshake and a hug between Carlo Ancelotti and Pep Guardiola. But for the first time in 13 seasons, Manchester City fail to make the last 16 of the Champions League. And they put in a very passive performance tonight in Madrid. Real hit the front very early on through Kylian Mbappe. Ended up with a hat-trick, his second goal on 33. Got the hat-trick goal in the second half. He's now sharing a hug with Pep Guardiola. But Manchester City barely laid a glove on Real Madrid and barely got Thibaut Courtois to use his gloves. They have to go back to their domestic form and hope that the FA Cup might provide some trophy salvation this season for the citizens. But they were nowhere near Real Madrid on the evidence of this 90 minutes. The first leg was a much, much closer affair. It's finished in the Santiago Bernabeu. Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 1, 6-3 on aggregate to the Madridistas.